Hey guys, welcome back to the show. We're back with the news. Today is August 11th, 2020. This is news after 2 weeks of no news. And today we have co-host Juho.
Hi.
From Camera Rescue.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I took him off for 2 weeks because we've been isolating with family in Finland, summery Finland, so it hasn't been bad, but no news last week.
Yeah, and we were going to do the news in a forest, but we had this set up for a different video, so we decided to take advantage. So we're going to jump into the news, and it's going to be a little bit of a different news show because, of course, with a co-host, we're going to be talking a little bit about the things that pop in the news. So there's quite a bit of stuff, so grab a coffee. We have some leftover coffee that we probably won't drink, but grab a coffee and check out the news for this week. First news of August. First thing that I noticed is the Domo Lightmeter. There's a new series of light meters coming out. Recently we have Raveni Labs, we've had Kegs, and now we have Domo, which seems to be a Chinese brand that's copied or inspired themselves into the light meter world, copying the Voigtlander VC2 meter.
Yeah, and it looks absolutely great. I mean, it's a metal kind of finish, so and has 2 wheels, so it looks a bit nicer than the aforementioned options, but it's also bigger, and we don't really know anything about it, how accurate it is, or things like that. So
yeah, one of those things too that I think should be mentioned about light meters and anything with any sort of electronics is usually in countries like the US and Canada or Europe, they should comply with certain regulations. So remember that when you buy some of these light meters, you might not have, support or might have issues. So just be aware of that. Some companies do have the FCC regulation or the EC in Europe. So take that into consideration. So that's for the light meters. Then we have probably the biggest news, and we're not going to get too deep into it. Probably we'll make an opinion video because it could cover a whole long video. And it's Kodak's news on the US government giving them a loan to basically invest into pharmaceutical ingredients, so chemical components for medical purposes.
Yeah, well, that was the idea, and then stocks went up and some shady business went about in the Kodak realm, and we don't I think it's not that smart to go into it in the news that much because it's still undisclosed.
Yeah.
I don't know, we don't know what happened, and we don't we
don't really know exactly what the deal's been, but there's been some, like Juho said, some shady stuff happening with stock options being moved before the deal was done. There is an update from Kodak where they've opened a special committee to conduct a review of the operation. As far as I have heard, the loan is frozen until these things are cleared out. So that is the news, honestly. We all celebrated something good for Kodak, but we will celebrate once we all know more about it, if it's good or not good. Then we have an update from the camera manufacturer Reflex, which is trying to manufacture a camera, and their Kickstarter has kept on having little bumps on the road, and someone wrote them a little letter saying to care too much or not to care too much, and mentioning that maybe because they care so much, there's no product yet. But just an update, if you are a backer of Reflex camera, they're still going on, which is good, but we know Kickstarters can get complicated.
Yeah, lately they've gotten a bit too complicated and too late, all of them in the analog world. Only a few exceptions.
Yeah, it's, I think, one of the biggest reasons we see Kickstarters be, usually achieve what they think they can do is, inexperience. Like certain projects require a lot more funding and a lot more, thought to it. But of course, Kickstarter is there for people a bit more hot-headed that go into it. So hopefully we'll see Reflex coming out. You can check the update on the link below. Then we have Cameradactyl with the Brancopan, another Kickstarter campaign that did achieve its goal and also has finally uploaded the files for free. The The Brancopan was a panoramic camera that had the cinematography, I think it's 235, or I don't know exactly the ratio, but it's more like an X-Fan sort of ratio.
Yeah.
And he promised that once he got all the funding, he would give the files for the backers first, and then it would be open for open source. So they're officially available for everyone.
And I think if I'm not wrong, Emulsive, someone published on Emulsive a guide to print it out.
That came out this week.
Yeah, this week too.
Yeah, so I'll leave the link for that too below if you want to understand. It is a very do-it-yourself project, and Cameradactyl, has great ideas, but sometimes the cameras need a little bit of fine-tuning from users, so take that in mind. If you're into do-it-yourself, it could be fun. If you're one that is not very good with their hands, maybe leave it for someone else. Then we have One Instant, another Kickstarter, trying to find an alternative to FP100C, which actually you guys found a box of that.
I noticed a box appear upstairs of 70-something FP100s. I doubt there aren't many left, but like someone had stashed it in Finland and
you guys found it.
Yeah.
That's not sponsored, guys. It's just I remembered. And basically, One Instant is trying to do a peel apart film, and they've updated that they finally launched all the rewards to the US to, I think it's Retrospect in Milwaukee, or I'm getting that name wrong probably. And it finally landed. So everyone in the North America, probably US and Canada, will be receiving their One Instant very soon, which is good news. That probably will be the end of the Kickstarter updates on One Instant, and then we'll move on to just having One Instant as a product, hopefully.
And it's good that it's done. Like it's good to get closure with many of these Kickstarter campaigns.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see that they've finally, released it all, and they've managed to make something that a lot of people doubted was possible, which is finding a origami package that could be a one-shot FP100C alternative, which is nice. Then we have a small little news about Metalog, which is an app for at least iOS devices that lets you, do your EXIF for rolls, different cameras, different rolls. So when you load your camera, you can write down what film you loaded, what date, and then you can kind of like save exposure values and stuff like that. So when you finish, you can, I think, export it as EXIF. I'm not 100% sure because I don't have an iOS device. So you guys can check it out. It could be interesting. Más o menos.
It depends on the user.
I don't take a lot of notes, so I can't be one of those.
Yeah.
Then we have Rezivot, which is from Taiwan. It's been making a lot of cool devices for film cameras. Has had a couple hints on their Instagram, and they're working on a battery pack for Polaroid SX70 cameras, which will let you have independence of battery-powered film. So you'll be able to use the I-type film and save a couple euros or dollars per pack, which is pretty cool. That will be releasing very soon, and I'll let you guys know, but he reminded me that they were working on it. There's a little video hint and a couple other things that will come from them. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's ecological, obviously, not having to toss, or like that was the biggest problem with 600 pack film, that you toss a battery into the garbage most of the time, or most users do. So
yeah, at least back in the day there was no recycling facilities for that, so that's also good. Apart from saving money, you're saving the world from batteries, which is always nice. Then we have Negative Supply coming out with their own YouTube content, which is pretty cool to see. Negative Supply, as you know, makes the digitizing hardware for scanning with a camera, and they've been making their own now content. And they released a 120 video of how to, which is cool, taking away YouTubers' work. But it's nice to see companies getting behind, content like that and making it easy to see how things should be done from the starting point. And talking about digitizing with your camera or phone, we have Film Lab app news from Abe Fedig, who's actually coming out today, Tuesday, with a whole ecosystem of software. So basically, He's coming out with the Film Lab desktop app, which will be, it's been on beta for a couple of months, but now it's fully operational through Windows and Mac machines, and soon with support for Linux in Spanish, machines. And also the phone app will be now free.
Wow.
So it's going to be working, and I'll make a video about this because it's pretty extensive to cover on the news, but basically the phone app will be free, which means you can use your phone to basically preview your shots and even take a shot and upload for Instagram purposes or WhatsApp or Messenger stuff. Then the app on your computer will work as an independent software, no need for Adobe Lightroom or Photoshop subscriptions. And you will either pay a monthly fee for like $5.99, or you can get the yearly fee, which is like $39.99 on sale, and then $49.99. And the cool thing is that you'll be able to go from phone to desktop, and it's going to be like a whole ecosystem. So it works fairly well. It's an alternative to the Negative Lab Pro, which is nice. It's standalone. And I have very good hopes for it. I've been using it a couple of days here in Finland, and it works very nice. And it has more like the darkroom vibes of saturation, contrast, hue, which I like. It's simple, and it lets you do batches. And also, there's a free trial of 2 weeks, which you can convert as many files as you want.
Wow.
Which is nice.
I mean, this is actually quite big news.
Yeah, it is big news.
Like, I'm hearing it for the first time here, but like that is really nice.
Yeah.
In terms of like, now you had to have the Adobe €10 a month or whatever it is in your country, a subscription, which is a lot of money if you don't do anything, if you don't do DSLR photos. So that's a very good news.
No, and also Abe is going to be giving educational free subscriptions. So if you're a high school teacher, I don't think for students there'll be discounts as of students, but if you're in a high school or teaching photography, you can reach out to him and he'll give you a subscription. Also, those that back the Kickstarter campaign for one of the, because this all started as a phone software. If you back the,
I'm a backer.
I'm a backer too.
Yeah.
For one device. So the one device backers, like Android or iOS, would get a year free subscription.
Ooh, nice.
And the two, like hybrid, maybe if you were like a dual software or dual, you know what I mean, guys. iPhone and Android supporter, you get 2 years subscription.
Ooh.
That is what he mentioned. I will leave the press release under and the link so you guys can check just in case something's changed in the last couple of days. But that's very exciting news for the digitalizing film world.
And it's very nice for Abe to be working on this because the man's got skills, obviously. And if you can do that, then you can also do some very different kind of work with your skills. So thank you, Abe.
Yeah, that is a community effort, basically. Yes. It's a one-man job. Then we have a different kind of news, Leica Film Camera comments. And we all know that Leica is making, luxury digital cameras, to say that. And then they make film cameras, though. They have the Leica MP and the MA. And in a recent interview, they've mentioned that film cameras will not be discontinued, which I guess people thought they might. I didn't have a doubt that they would continue. And they actually comment that there's been an increase in interest in new cameras. And I think, being with Juho from Camera Rescue and seeing the film prices of like a M6 and M6 TTLs, the prices have been going to a point where it almost makes more sense to buy a new camera. And the sales have been supposedly back ordered because of how many cameras are selling, which is great news.
Well, on the street price on high-end boutiques in London or New York or Tokyo for M6 is already way above $3,000 or euros. So the jump to a new MP isn't that much, I would.
And it's a brand new MP with a brand new light meter. One of the things that I think you guys see here in Finland, because you repair and buy and source cameras, is that the M6 light meter is actually failing by the second. So
well, it's more of an M7 problem, but
I've had two M6s break on me.
Yeah, but anyhow, like they are 30 years old, so
Some will be counting, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty old.
yeah.
So that's the news from Leica, which is great to hear that, you know, they're going to continue working. There's even someone speculating on maybe something new. I don't think that will happen, but who knows? The MA came out of the blue. Then we have a little double exposure gizmo for the Instax 90. For those who are familiar with the lomography splitzer or splitzerlizer or something like that, it sounds like a salad dryer, is basically a front filter that lets you shoot half a frame and then another half a frame.
Oh, yeah.
So in the Instax 90 by Fuji, you can do multiple exposures or at least double exposures. What you can do with this gizmo is shoot 2 pictures moving the filter, and like the author did a lot of like him sitting in this chair, then him sitting in this chair in an Instax, so there's like dual people. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave the link below. It's a pretty cool little...
Is it on wide or?
It's on the Instax 90 is mini.
Oh, oh.
You know, it's
Well.
it's film.
Okay.
Then to go to something a bit less, you know, do-it-yourself, plasticky, we go to the TTArtisan coming out with a 35mm gold edition lens of their 1.4. So for those who want a bit more bling, they can buy, and it's really, really gold, like golden and shiny. And you can even get the front cap like engraved with something custom, if that's your thing. So if you're one that wants a gold bling edition from TTArtisan, you can get a 35 1.4. I won't say Sumilux because it's not Leica's lens, it's a third party, which I think Yuho's going to order a couple of them for himself.
Sure.
And then we have something a little different. Someone contacted me through Instagram to tell me they were working on a do-it-yourself Uni Roller controller. So the Uni Roller Uni Roller device is a little motor that turns the roller for cyberchrome film or paper one way and maybe the other way. He's working on a do-it-yourself kind of Arduino thing, which you will control the speed and the times it does one way and the other, which is pretty cool. I'll leave more information as soon as I have. The author is going to let me know when things are coming. So yeah, those are the news for this week. As I said, 2 weeks of news, you know, with Yuho, we covering a little bit more. As I said, we might make a couple of opinion videos of the hot topics that came out on the news. Let us know what you think, and as always, thanks for watching. And if you have any information, send an email to the email below. Thank you, Yuho, and thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.